Since 2006, Hezbollah has maintained a strong presence just beyond the fence separating Israel from Lebanon. But this is precisely the scenario that the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, or UNIFIL, was created to prevent. UNIFIL was established by the UN Security Council resolutions 425 and 426, following Israel's 1978 invasion of Lebanon, which aimed to push terrorist threats away from its northern border. The force was tasked with overseeing Israel's withdrawal, restoring regional peace, and assisting the Lebanese government in reasserting control over the south. However, following the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war, UNIFIL's role expanded under Resolution 1701. It shared responsibility with the Lebanese armed forces to ensure that only state military forces operated south of the Litani River. In short, Hezbollah was supposed to leave southern Lebanon, and UNIFIL was tasked with enforcing that. Yet, since the October 7th massacre, Hezbollah has launched a record number of rockets at Israel over 13 months, prompting an Israeli ground incursion into Lebanon. By any reasonable measure, UNIFIL has failed. The question is, what exactly has UNIFIL been doing all this time? How can a force of 10,000 troops with $500 million of annual budget, including $125 million from the United States, allow Hezbollah to amass 150,000 rockets and missiles, many positioned in southern Lebanon? How has this peacekeeping force stood by while Hezbollah fired thousands of rockets at Israel from within UNIFIL's jurisdiction? And why is it now that Israeli troops have moved into southern Lebanon, does UNIFIL still refuse to leave? One problem is Hezbollah's relentless campaign of harassment. As Asaf Orion from the Washington Institute highlighted in a 2019 paper, the UN has recorded over 150 incidents of harassment against UNIFIL troops since 2006, a figure Orion believes is conservative. Even more disturbing, there have been 114 reports of violent attacks, resulting in 6 peacekeepers being killed and 41 injured between 2006 and 2019. One particularly brutal incident took place on August 4th, 2018, near UNIFIL's barracks in Maljalzoun. A group of about 20 men ambushed a UNIFIL convoy, smashing vehicle windows with hammers, firing weapons, and setting a vehicle ablaze. They beat the patrol commander, kicked another peacekeeper on the ground, and confiscated their weapons, all over the peacekeepers' alleged offense of taking photographs. The attackers wore civilian clothing, Hezbollah's preferred tactic to maintain deniability. Generally, Hezbollah has succeeded in keeping these attacks out of the public eye. But as 2 former peacekeepers told Fox News, UNIFIL's strategy has long prioritized avoiding confrontation with Hezbollah. One peacekeeper accused the Lebanese armed forces of passing intelligence to Hezbollah and revealed that Hezbollah-controlled zones were effectively off-limits to UNIFIL. In October, Danish media outlet BT published the testimony of another ex-peacekeeper stationed a decade ago. According to him, UN troops avoided operating after dark for fear of Hezbollah, granting the group free rein at night. Dror Doron, an ex-analyst from the Israeli Prime Minister's office and now a senior advisor at United Against Nuclear Iran, concurs. He says, Hezbollah's intimidation tactics have rendered UNIFIL ineffective. He points to suspected Hezbollah attacks on UNIFIL, like 2007 car bomb that killed 6 peacekeepers, and more recent incidents, like the December 2022 murder of Irish peacekeeper Sean Rooney. Even after Lebanon's military tribunal accused 5 Hezbollah members of Rooney's killing, only 1 was arrested, and he was released on bail. Hezbollah's manipulation of UNIFIL operations is even more insidious. On October 13th, news broke about a Hezbollah tunnel discovered only 100 meters from a UNIFIL observation post. Yotam Confino, reporting from The Telegraph, found it incomprehensible that UNIFIL hadn't detected the tunnel. Similarly, Douglas Murray, writing for the New York Post, questioned how the UN forces could miss such heavy excavation work. Despite Hezbollah's blatant violations, UNIFIL has mostly omitted any mention of the group from official statements. Even though Hezbollah's rocket attacks on Israel began a year before, the first time UNIFIL explicitly named Hezbollah was October 8, 2023. Accusations have even emerged of active UNIFIL complicity. In a well-documented case from October 2000, UNIFIL filmed the live kidnapping of 3 Israeli soldiers by Hezbollah. Although the footage existed, the UN initially denied it, only to admit the truth months later. Allegations surfaced that Indian UNIFIL troops were bribed to assist Hezbollah, though both UNIFIL and the Indian government denied the claims. The kidnapped soldiers' remains were returned in a 2004 prisoner swap, but suspicions of UNIFIL complicity have lingered. And this isn't an isolated concern. In October 2023, Israel Hayom reported allegations from captured Hezbollah operatives claiming the group had paid off UNIFIL personnel and co-opted their surveillance cameras near the Israeli border. While UNIFIL denies these accusations, Dror Doron suggests Hezbollah's use of UN infrastructure may explain why Israel has recently targeted UNIFIL positions. This could also shed light on UNIFIL's decision to remain stationed in Lebanon. Leaving might reveal Hezbollah's covert operations. At the heart of UNIFIL's weakness is its reliance on the Lebanese armed forces. UNIFIL's Chapter 6 mandate means it lacks the authority to act militarily and must instead rely on cooperation from Lebanese forces. And yet, the July UN Security General's report noted that the Lebanese armed forces often blocked UNIFIL patrols from expanding beyond major routes. This dependency cripples UNIFIL's effectiveness. Despite these failures, there is a slight upside to UNIFIL's ties to Hezbollah and the Lebanese army. Dror Doron explains that these connections have, on occasion, helped prevent conflict escalation by enabling communication between Israel and Hezbollah. But make no mistake, Hezbollah remains an Iranian proxy, not a legitimate national defense force. Hezbollah is an internationally designated terrorist operation notorious for its crimes against Western and Arab civilians, its role in propping up Bashar al-Assad's regime in Syria, and its ties to the drug trade and human trafficking. Ultimately, the world would indeed be a far safer place without Hezbollah. But UNIFIL's inability to fill its mandate has brought the Middle East closer to a war of catastrophic proportions. If the peacekeeping force continues to stand powerless against Hezbollah, perhaps the only solution is for UNIFIL to step aside and let Israel handle what UN peacekeepers have failed to do for nearly 2 decades: neutralize the threat looming on its northern border. This video is based on an essay by Josh Feldman and was published in Quillette on the 3rd of November 2024. You can read it for yourself at the link in the description. Thanks for watching.